Hello and welcome to GMS Podcast, where we bring you timely conversations with the people shaping the future of sustainable ship recycling and maritime leadership. I am Dr. Anand Hiremath, CEO of Sustainable Ship and Offshore Recycling Program. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with a key figure whose vision and leadership has been central to Bangladesh's transition into a new era under the Hong Kong Convention. He is a dedicated public servant, known for his energetic and country first approach, and he brings to his sector not only a strong regulatory perspective but also a clear commitment to sustainable development. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Talukdar, Director General of the Bangladesh Ship Recycling Board.
Thank you, Dr. Anand. Good day to everyone tuning in to the podcast. It's an absolute honor for me. I am ASM Shafiul Alam Talukder, currently working as Director General of Bangladesh Ship Recycling Board. In short, we call BSRB. Especially at this time when we are in a sector stands at the crossroad of transformation, compliance, and international cooperation. I am again thankful to Dr. Anand to invite me in this GMS podcast.
Thank you so much for your time.
Let's begin with the conversations regarding the Hong Kong Convention. As we are aware, it's been a month since the Hong Kong Convention officially became legally binding. From your vantage point, how would you describe this movement for Bangladesh, both as the regulatory body and as a global leader in ship recycling?
Thanks, Dr. Anand. Bangladesh has long leadership role in global recycling. With the Hong Kong Convention now legally binding to everyone who are recycling ships over the globe, we are witnessing the historic pivot from preparation to implementation, and it is the shift, not just a procedural shift, it's philosophical, industrial. As Hong Kong Convention has been enforced 26 June 2025, Bangladesh has stepped into different milestone for the Hong Kong Convention implementation issues. As of today, we have only 14 Hong Kong Convention compliant shipyard in Bangladesh. Yet we are trying to increase this more, and we are aligned with the full compliance of the Hong Kong Convention so that we can ensure safe and environmentally sound ship recycling in Bangladesh. Our collaborative efforts from our some key partners like JICA, IMO has contributed in this industry from the very inception of ship recycling in Bangladesh. As we in Bangladesh, we have a legal framework which started from shipbreaking and recycling rules 2011 and ship recycling at 2018. Just for aligning with the changes provisions of the Hong Kong Convention, both rules and act are now being amended with the help of JICA and IMO project, that is the Sanstec project in Bangladesh. So we are fully aware what we should do in the upcoming days and how we will align our ship recycling industry with the Hong Kong Convention, IMOs, and other international rules and regulations.
The ship recycling industry in Bangladesh comes under the Ministry of Industries. Now, the dedicated ship recycling board has been created by the Ministry of Industries, especially to look after the entire ship recycling operations. How this particular board has evolved under this convention, I mean HKC, how it is coordinating with the different internal agencies.
As independent Director General has been appointed from the Bangladesh government under the Ministry of Industry, the board truly functioning from 10th April 2025. We are very serious and we have keen interest upon our ship recycling industry as there are a lot of forward linkage industries in Bangladesh. Simultaneously, we want to comply the rules and regulations of the Hong Kong Conventions, and with our domestic rules, we want to save the environment and marine ecosystem. Simultaneously, we want to comply and as we have the legal bindings with the Hong Kong Convention and with our local or domestic rules, that is the environment rules and the other maritime regulations and MEPC rules. So we are strongly aligned for enforcing these regulations in Bangladesh, along with the safe and sound recycling, just conforming the health workers and health safety and other maritime ecosystem, especially forest and environments in Bangladesh, are very aware and always they have been observation upon the ship recycling industry. As over the years, and Ministry of Environment and Forest has raising their voice for the safe and sound recycling. We are also have shown our all activities and that are remained with their concerns.
Many yards have worked really hard to meet the requirements of Hong Kong Convention and to get the HKC SOC compliance. How do you see as the industry's overall response to the new Hong Kong Convention?
As when there is a strong restriction, the consequence is two way. One way is they come forward for the compliance as we are deserving from them. And second, negative consequence is this, some may get disheartened or some may quit this business and they switch from the ship recycling to another business. But we are very strict for the enforcement of our domestic law and Hong Kong Convention. The impact or consequences, what if you analyze what is the true consequences after enforcement of the Hong Kong Convention? There are many shipyard owners who are coming forward for making their years compliant as desired and designed from the Hong Kong Convention. And as of today, as I mentioned earlier, there are 13 to 14 compliant years are now we have. But in the pipeline, there are as many 20 years are just developing their years and they are trying to raise their years at the level of Hong Kong Convention design. From the yard owner point of view, that is from the SRA, they are here to cope up with the changing situations. But from the regulatory point of view, as BSRB is working on both the government, so we have to nurse the entire ecosystem. So we have to accountable to our national or domestic rules. We have to be accountable to the international rules and regulations. So we are very accommodative and we are working as a regulator as well as the facilitator for the ship recycling yard owners. We have given them a few chances to make their yard as per the design of Hong Kong Conventions, which is stated and which is truly deserving for these ship recycling industries in Bangladesh. And one thing I'm sharing with you from BSRB, we have developed roadmap 2030 and another roadmap 2040. Within 2030, I do hope among the 150 traditional ship recycling years, we can bring it up to 100 plus. And it would be truly Hong Kong compliant shipyards as Bangladesh is handling the lion's share of ship recycling in the globe. Nearly 35% of ship recycling is conducted from Bangladesh. We want to hold this share as in the coming years, a good number of ships will be recycled and it is annually, so far I can guess it will raise 3,700 in 2035. Just to catch up the business opportunity, the BSRB is supporting the yard owners and government is supporting the BSRB to promote and to develop these years at that level so that we can handle more number of ships in the coming days.
Norway has been a long-standing partner when it comes to sustainable ship recycling in Bangladesh. IMO has been consistently providing the support. Moreover, Japanese International Cooperation Agency is working hands in hands with the existing ship recycling board. With all this support, how you see the challenge of hazardous waste management in ship recycling yards, as well as the overall infrastructure development?
It's a very pertinent questions as JICA and Norway and IMO is supporting us a lot. IMO is currently running one project, which is Sensorec 3 project, phase 3 project. The Sensorec phase 1 was started from 2015 and the current project, that is phase 3, has started on 2022 and it is going to finish on December 2025. And for supporting BSRB and the government, they have taken another phase, that is phase 4, which is going to be start from January 2026. And their main focus is to upgrade industry review and train up the workforce who are currently engaged in our ship recycling years. And along on top of that, ILO also working for the legal bindings of the ILO convention and the level law of Bangladesh also aligned with ILO part. And I had a meeting with Mr. John. He is the Chief of Project Director of IMO. I have shared our reviews from the government, what truly we needed for upgradation of our entire ecosystem for safe and sound recycling. One thing, is mandatory part, and it is the development of the TSDF. Previously, we had a feasibility study. Currently, IMO is going to conduct a feasibility study. They have already float tenders for the feasibility study. After conducting feasibility study, we are expecting JICA will give the adequate fund for the establishment of the TSDF. As TSDF is a mandatory for the recycling for the management of the hazardous material coming from recycled ship. From the development partner, we are getting adequate and proper support from all our partners, especially from JICA, from IMO and Norway, and even Danida has shown their keen interest to support us.
As industry becomes more regulated, the ease of doing business becomes increasingly important. There have been talks about creating a one window solution where all compliance and permits can be provided by the Ship Recycling Board. Can you tell me more about this idea and what it really brings a change in the sector?
Ease of doing business is not only the desiring part from the ship recycling part, but it's truly the commitment from the government, not only for the ship recycling industries in Bangladesh, but from government of Bangladesh, and they are trying to make business easy for all the stakeholders. For that reason, we have a long-felt desire for setting up a one-stop services. And prior to before that, in this month, we are in a JCC Joint Coordination Committee. This is the first step. And after forming JCC, we hope we could able to establish one-stop service for the smooth and speedy disposal of our communications of our decision. Apart from that, board is deeply concerned about the online communications or online receipt of the application and online disposal of application. Currently, I do agree the prevailing stages of which the ship recycler or SRP has to follow is time consuming. But in the coming future, or by December 2025, I think we can able to provide a scalable progress in this area.
The Ship Recycling Act of 2018 laid the groundwork for regulation in Bangladesh. As we enter this new phase of Hong Kong Convention, what role will the existing act will play moving forward? And are there any plans to strengthen or expand its scope?
As Ship Recycling Act was formulated in 2018. In our upcoming amendments, we are incorporating all these new concepts and new mandatory parts, which becomes legally binding for every ship recycler. We are incorporating how they will handle the entire ship recycling process. Especially, they need to submit the SRP version 0, and then it's a mandatory part to submit ISM part 1, part 2, and they need to bring the IRRC from the flag set, and all these items as it is mandatory. So we are incorporating all these mandatory parts in our amended rules. And along with the act, we need to bring some changes in our shipbreaking and recycling rules 2011 also.
Thank you for the comprehensive answer. Ship recycling support thousands of livelihoods. The industry is transitioning. How is the board approaching the social side of this equation, especially the worker safety, skill development, ensuring insurance to the workers, and how you are trying to create a secure environment for the workers?
It's very excellent questions to me and for all stakeholders. As there is a narrative statements regarding the ship recycling industry all over the world. So we are very much concerned about the health and safety of the workforce who are involved in the ship recycling industry. We are going to make mandatory for the insurance purpose of the each and every workers will be engaged in the ship recycling industry. They must be trained on, and for their welfare, we are going to set up hospitals and clinics, and for the emergency evacuation. So we are thinking for procuring ambulance, and we want to mark a government hospital or any hospital as a dedicated one for the emergency treatment of the workers if they get injured in any incident at the time of ship recycling. Apart from that, we want to conduct a survey regarding the socioeconomic impact of the ship recycling industry upon the workforce who have engaged themselves for the last 50, nearly 40 years in that area. And for that, we have formulating our project proposal to our developing partners, especially IMO and JICA have shown their keen interest for the welfare of the workforce who are currently engaged in the ship recycling industries in Bangladesh. Thank you very much.
Bangladesh has lion's share when it comes to ship recycling, but you have other countries beside you, such as India and Pakistan. They are also trying hard to meet the HKC compliance. How Bangladesh leadership is currently positioned to take advantage of HKC?
As our neighboring country, India and Pakistan and Turkey is the lion ship recycler in the world. We are following the India counterpart, and we are keeping a close contact with the GMB and BTA of Pakistan, and we have close contact with their procedures and legal frameworks of what they are taking in the transitional period. And their cooperation is helping us so much. And the procedure and the changes, what they are adopting, we are trying to adopt our policy aligning with their procedures. And our position is that we want a safe and sound recycling. India is much ahead in comparison to Bangladesh, especially if you consider the number of green or compliant year is much more higher to Bangladesh. And how they are positioning from their government part and what steps and procedures they are taking. We are taking their examples to shape up our industry also. As in Bangladesh, we are developing our new years with the help of ORCA, and on top of ORCA, for this transitional period or for the development of the non-green year and upcoming new years who wants to start business in the ship recycling industry, we have given some idea from the JICA. We will conduct a gap analysis from the local consulting firm. I think this is the new idea from Bangladesh. And they will analyze every year for the compliant year, what is their gap. After their analysis, they will place a report to the year donors, and the year donor will submit this transitional development plan to the board. And the board will scrutinize this transitional plan. That plan is to be verified, and that plan is to be developed by the local consulting firm. And all these local consulting firms are going to be enlisted under the board. And they are the listed firms who have the capacity to oversee their development, and they have the manpower who are necessary for the finding of the gaps in HPPRs. As there are some stratified criteria for becoming a compliant year, the local consulting firm has to be empowered with that level of expertise and human resources, so that they can truly finding what is requirements and what is their gap for being a compliant year for running the ship recycling in Bangladesh. Thank you very much.
As you said, Bangladesh Ship Recycling Board is closely monitoring India when it comes to HKC implementation. But we are aware that India has taken about 6 months of period. It's called as a transition period for HKC implementation across the yards when it comes to different approvals. For example, providing document of authorization to conduct ship recycling, DASR, to its own yards. And it's been said that within 2 months, India will start rolling out issuing DASR to its HKC compliant yards. When it comes to Bangladesh, we have about dozen of HKC compliant yards already, which are yet to receive a TASR. Do you think during this transition phase, the yards which are already HKC compliant and the yards which are in the process of getting an HKC compliance will have any issues beaching ships in Bangladesh.
During this transitional phase, that is prior to having any circular or from any order from the government, but we are trying to resolve their claim, or we're trying to resolve their issues for bringing new ships to their ears. But one thing, before selling a ship from outside to Bangladesh, or for any years in the globe, they need to produce the ISM Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. This become a mandatory. So for I could understand from the SKC enforcement. But how many of ships globally has already conducted the ISM Part 1, Part 2, to I don't know. But the expert just shared some data. Only 10 to 12% of the global recyclable ships has the IHM part on. If the scenario is, then it will not a problem for buying ship from Bangladesh. Then it will also be a critical problem for the ship seller also. As the ship recycle is one part, government regulatory one part, and also the ship owner and flag state is other stakeholders. So we have come forward in a body to resolve this issue and to enforce the HKC convention in a body. Otherwise, singly, if Bangladesh is ready for recycling, I think it is not enough for only the recycling state. And the ship seller also come forward to resolve this problem. Otherwise, we will be unable to take ship from the seller also. This is a critical question. How we will have the ship, those who don't yet have the ISM inventory?
I must say, Bangladesh was pioneer when it comes to asking for inventory of hazardous material reports from the ship owners. And in fact, 10 months before the HKC came into force, it was made mandatory by the Bangladesh board that vessel must come with IHM on board a ship. Do you have any plan in place to check how these IHMs are effectively utilized by the yards? I mean, whether the yards are marking the hazardous waste on board a ship, removing the hazardous waste properly, segregating it, and temporarily storing it at the yard. Do you have any monitoring system to check on effective utilization of IHMs received from the ship owners?
Yes, it's very good question from you. As still today, we are ahead of establishing the TSJ. At the meeting which held on day before Thursday, I think, with IMO, we have raised these questions. Please come forward for the setting of TSJ. Otherwise, all the hazardous materials are currently storing in their own years. And how long they will store it? This is very vital questions. And they are temporarily storing their hazardous materials, the ship years. But the entire channel must be established. How they will, after establishing TSJ and mode of transportation from here to the TSJ site, and the person who will be engaged for this handling of these hazardous materials and need to be trained up, and entire ecosystem is to be newly built, because currently this loop is totally missing in Bangladesh. Whether we are shouting regarding the safe and sound recycling without leaving this loop unaddressed. Another thing I mentioned at the time of inspections, as the inspecting team has to rush to the outer anchorage for inspection. At that inspection team, manpower from customs, manpower from navy, and personnel from environment and forest and exclusive departments, anybody used to visit there. But in a vulnerable condition, in a risk, with a high risk, they used to inspect there with a country board. I want to address this loop also for the time of inspection of a ship in the outer anchorage, we must address this part also, because here the personnel who are currently engaging here, they have their voice and they raise their fingers, claim, sir, it's not safe and sound in which condition we are currently inspecting the ship in the outer anchorage. So there are many areas which we have to address. Otherwise, if you don't consider the entire ecosystem, that is what is the uh, management of the hazardous materials, from inspecting the ship at the time of beaching, and during the dismantling a ship, and health and safety of the worker, and after post accident preparedness. Holistically, we have to address all these issues. Politically, we are being concentrate only the shipyards, how a yard is developed, and how they are cutting a ship, or how they have set up their clinic. This is not the approach to make the industry, or the total industry, safe and sound. So holistically, we have to think from management of the hazardous materials, from the inspection, from the teaching, from the dismantling, and the other issues which is closely related to health and safety. For making safe and sound, or for making it environmental friendly, the ship owner and flag state, I think, has the vital role to do something for the recycling state also. As JMS is the largest seller and buyer of the recycling ship, you think what you can contribute for upgrading the entire ecosystem in Bangladesh, not only in Bangladesh, for the other recycling state in the globe? Thank you, Dr. Anand.
If you look at the next, say, 6 to 12 months into the future, because you have talked about a lot of gaps and how Pramod is working hard to bridge those gaps. If you want to, prioritize 5 tasks in front of you for the next 6 to 12 months, what those tasks will be? And through this podcast, what message you would like to convey to the entire ship owning community in the world who are currently much reluctant while choosing Bangladesh as ship recycling destination, mainly because of delays in getting no objection certificates to beach a ship and delays in regulatory procedures? What message you want to convey to the entire world through this podcast?
My proposition is we will not compromise with the SKC and our local rules and regulation for the ship recycling. This is my first statement. We really want to support the ship owner to send their ships to Bangladesh, considering as a safe and sound destination for their ships. We will issue DASR, but the IHM Part 1, Part 2, the ship owners have to meet it properly. What they will state it in the papers, they should mean it. It is done judiciously and prudently. And so in future, no question can raise from the recycling state. Third one is they have to come forward. What is the real necessity for the development of the years, and for making the non-green year to a green year, so that they can feel comfortable for sending their ships, that we are sending our ships, our vessels in a safe and sound years. So they will remain mentally free. We are not harming to any state or to any nation. So ethically and morally and socially and economically, we want to make sure Bangladesh will be a good destination when all the conformity of the international rules and regulations and local regulations are to be legally binded, and it to be performed properly. So my message is very clear. Every stakeholders connected with this ship recycling industry have to work together. Not only the ship recyclers, not only the regulatory bodies, and not only the ship seller. Everybody has to join together so that we can make this industry safe and sound. Every loop is very important. The entire chain who are connected here is to work together, and they must be committed to make the recycling industry truly sound and truly safe for our manpower who are currently involved there, or for our environment. Otherwise, singly as a recycling state, or singly for the regulatory part of any regulatory authority can't cover up this or can changes the entire scenario. Second one is, as compliant yard it needs huge amount of investment and a number of trainings to the changes scenario in the ship recycling industry. So some donor may come forward for training of the capacity building training or for the technical training. And also the ship recycling state come forward with a strong restriction. We will not allow any ship to dismantle or any ship in our yards unless it is truly certified from the flag state that it is internationally recyclable ship. And the ship owners, as they need some sound destination for the recycle of their ship. Ship owner have have their own ethical roles to support the ship recyclers in every step, whatever it may be in India, or it may be in Turkey or Pakistan or Bangladesh. Because to some extent, every recycling state is compromising their environment, and there is a trade-off. How much they will trade off with the recycling with the environment. So my voice and my statement is very clear. Every stakeholders or every person in the loop have to come forward to make this industry safe and sound, so that we can achieve our vision to making this industry a green. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your valuable insights and sharing your vision with us. Your leadership is clearly helping guide Bangladesh into a future of responsible world-class ship recycling.
Thank you to GMS and SSORP for this platform and continuous support. Thank you very much.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning into GMS Podcast. We will be back soon with more voices from the front lines of maritime sustainability. Till then, take care. Goodbye.